orgiastic and drunken divinity, whirling Menaids and staggering satyrs, Dionysus, the lord of the vine, is still present in the drunken rites taking place around the world every night. Nobody knows the true origins of the god. He swirls between being the son of Zeus, the thigh-born god, or an ancient god, older even than the Olympians, and having existed ever since men reveled in his psyche. Notwithstanding from whence he came, the cult of the Dionysia stretches back millennia, extending as far as archaic Crete in Egypt. Here he may have been a vegetation god, the one who first taught man how to inseminate the herb with the vine, and themselves with madness. His cult was one of mystery, as was he, a shapeshifter from the far east who died to be reborn. Whether his travels were to India, Egypt, or the underworld, he always returned surrounded by his ecstatic followers. These frequent reincarnations, descents to the underworld before rebirths, offer the idea of multiple Dionysiae. His festivals, the Dionysia, the Anthestria, Ascolia, and the Linnea, were chaotic events. Trance music, early psychedelic drugs, strong unmixed wine, and the madness of the initiated crowd. Here Dionysus was in his chaotic element. I call upon loud roaring and reveling Dionysus, primeval, thrice-born Bacchic lord, wild, ineffable, secretive, two-horned and two-shaped, ivy-coloured, bull-faced, warlike, howling, pure. You take raw flesh, you have feasts, wrapped in foliage, decked with grape clusters, resourceful Euboreus, immortal god sired by Zeus when he mated with Persephone in unspeakable union. Hearken to my voice, O blessed one, and with your fair girdled nymphs breathe on me in a spirit of perfect agape. Dionysus appeals to the primal spirit in each and every one of us. His centaurs, satyrs, whirring and whirling and twisting and drowning, nymphs and Menaids surround the lord of the vine as he rides his bulls, his leopards, and drags the sanity out of our collective consciousness.
May we open the door to initiation. May we open the door so the gods know the way. May we ring this bell to enlighten the spirit so they'll know the way by hearing. Today, we dropping part 3 of who, what, and how, when, the Christos. We're going to go from history to modern time of how ancient thoughts and teaching and practices is merged into today modern behavior. We will go into drugs, slavery, and sex, and how it tied into Abraham, to Jesus, to the religional expectation of this. So I'm Henry, your host, and we have Shin Akuma JML as the co-host. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, man, you know who it is. It's your boy Jamael back again. Here to expose these plots, man. These plots in plain sight.
Yes. So now people are gonna be like, this. We gonna be frank right here with the opening. People gonna be like, I thought we was talking about Jesus and Abraham. Why did we open up with the god Dionysus of the Greeks, of the Hellenes? Because if you watch part 1 and part 2 of this series, you'll realize that we are living in the age of Greeks. We are living in the 2nd century, the 7th century, Greek, BCE, where Hellenistic thoughts is running rapid because the Greeks gave the greatest resource that they could have gave the world. They gave their language. And with this language, we could tie up many culture, train of thought, behavior, medicine. For when you realize when you deal with medicine, the names are Greek. When you deal with law, it is Latin. So when you dig deeper into the word sorcery, a sorcerer, you'll realize when the Greek put it down, it is a pharmacist, someone who deal with drugs. So when you hear in the Bible a sorcerer, realize that you dealing with drug dealers, people who giving drugs to people for religional purposes.
And if you really go into it, that if you know, that's why everybody in America is sick based on pharmaceutical, because in the ancient Greek, herbalist would be known as a apothecary, not a sorcerer, because they work with herbs for healing purposes, not for quote unquote medicinal. Medicinal is just another name for drug use. And going into the Dionysus, we know that Dion, Dion, means God, a god of light. And then Isus, there's his name right there when you break it down into 2 words. Remember, English is based a lot on compound words.
Yeah. So gonna open up because I don't want people to like, oh, y'all not saying nothing about the Bible. We're gonna open up the Bible. Can you see what I'm looking at?
Yes, sir. Mark 14.
Okay, if you can see it, everybody else can see it. If y'all, the viewers, can't see, please comment us and we'll make sure you see these words very well.
You want me to
So,
read that?
yes, read it for us.
So there's going to be Mark 14 and 48.
Yeah.
And Jesus answered and said unto them, are you come out as against a thief with a sword and with staves to take me? I was daily with you.
So I'm gonna put on a little acting. So I'm gonna let y'all see how his mind is at this time. Is, man, who you coming to get? I'm not a thief. I'm not a thief. You coming to get me with swords. You coming to get me. You coming to get me. I am not a thief. That's the English version of it. A thief. This word right here, a thief. This will show us where we starting off tonight. A thief. So I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop sharing this screen, and I'm gonna go to the next screen. So okay. Share screen. We gonna go to video. Okay. Here you go, right here. Now. We starting at the beginning. This word right here. When you go into the Greek Bible and you hear Abraham, the Hebrew, this is the word you will see. This word right here. When one think about a Hebrew, they was wanderers. Moving from one country to another into another area, they would say an immigrant. They did not have a polis. What is a polis? A polis is a city. They did not belong to a city state. That's what a Hebrew is. Not just a wanderer and an immigrant. We're going to go more into this Greek word. So this is part 2. This is the second meaning of this Hebrew word. To carry beyond the sea for the purpose of selling, to export for sale. So when one realized this, let me put it in the perspective what it's telling you. These are wanderers, like the sea people, going through rivers, going through seas, the Mediterranean Sea, the Red Sea, the Aegean Sea, the Black Sea, the Pontic Sea. All these areas, these people moved around. And they traded. As you see, they moved around, they wandered, they immigrated to different areas for the purpose to sell and to export for sale. When you watch movies and see the caravans with the camels going through the desert, that's what you're seeing. People moving from place to place. That's what a Hebrew is. Them traders that trade from city to city but do not belong to none of these cities. We in ancient times. Also,
It
where
would
they
be
get their
similar,
goods.
like for a modern day analogy of a comparison, the Hebreo, as it was saying in that previous slide, the wanderer, right?
Yeah.
In a modern day interpretation, that's Super Mario. Because at the end of every level, you end up in the palace because you got to jump and hit the flag.
Yeah.
So, and Super Mario doesn't have anywhere that he lives. And to go into the drug use, Super Mario uses flowers that's on fire and he uses mushrooms.
Yes. So with the buckets worship moving from place to place on the caravans, moving from place to place, you get mainly what? People think just gold and ivory and silver, but they don't think about drugs. They don't think about slaves, male and female. These are the traders. When you
And
remember,
don't forget, you're forgetting one of the main things too that you had already stated is the most important thing: the language of commerce, Greek.
yes, yes, facts. Because when we remember in the movie Gladiator, when he became a slave and he woke up, he was in the caravan. And we understand today, as we was talking, me and Yushin Akama, that caravan today would be a circus.
Yes, sir. And wouldn't they have those exotic animals that they had traded for in those foreign lands in order to show them to people who would have never seen them before as a spectacle, in order to, misdirection? You show
So
one thing because you're trying to do something in the shady part where people can't see, in the shadow.
so these are not just traders, okay? The same on land people. Let's put them on the high sea. These same traders trade same caravans would be known as pirates today. We would call them pirates.
Or as they're known in the Bible, the Phoenicians, the Phoenician.
Yes, you can see Abraham moving from city to city, state to state, gaining slaves, gaining wealth, go
And
into
gaining
areas
recognition too.
in in these slaves. When one look into the Greek and realize that some Christians gonna like, oh, what about Muhammad? When I post stuff about Jesus and stuff, they be like, let me ring the bell, let me stop them, let me stop them. They be like, what about Muhammad? We could talk about Muhammad. You want to do a show with me? We could talk about Muhammad. But let's talk about Abraham for a moment.
The patriarch, right? The
The
main
patriarch
patriarch.
of three religions: Christianity, Islam, and Judaism.
Well, today, technically, we're going to do what Mr. Babylon said and combine the three into one and call it the pirate religion, the religion
Yes,
of pirates.
the religion of pirates. Let's go ahead and go to Abraham. Let's go into realizing that when Abraham was with his wife, who was barren, I should have this up, the Greek version. Now, this what Hebrew is: a ferryman,
Right,
Charon,
right,
the boatman,
right,
the seaman.
right.
Let's go to the next one. Generally, the
Especially
boatman.
a crew of a passenger ship. We would call that the Navy today, a navalman,
What?
Navy.
So what they say at the bottom right there?
A conveyor or a purveyor.
These so you can say this: the Bible that we get is telling you stories of drug dealers, sex traffickers, enslavers in a code that y'all don't know nothing about.
And don't
So
forget, if it's a caravan, they left out one name:
yeah,
highwaymen.
yeah.
They're highwaymen if they're on land.
We
The
we
highwayman is a pirate when he's on land.
so when you actually dig into like the Hebrews inside of the area and look into tablets that people that might similar that look kind of like the Hebrew in history, they'll tell you these was bandits. They didn't belong to no polis. They did not belong to no city state. They did not belong to no emperor. They was raiders.
Henry, going back to the Super Mario example, right? Remember the
Yeah,
Super Mario example? How it has the flags in each polis, right?
yeah.
If Henry and we both was in a military fashion, so if you're in a naval ship with no flag, what are you considered by international laws?
Pirate.
A pirate, correct? Because you have no country of origin, correct?
Yes, look right here. A pirate.
Right. And a brigand. A brigand is a thug. So that we already know what they're trying to tell us, because a pirate is on the sea and a brigand is on the land.
Yeah. So
now we
now,
about to get into the purple material.
not yet. We dealing with the covenant. The covenant that Abraham talked about so much. What they talk about so much. That covenant, that new covenant, the covenant, covenant. This is the Greek word for covenant. Testament, like New Testament, Old Testament. It's the covenant. This the Greek word for it, and this
Or
explains
like
what
it
it is.
says right there too, a
Yes.
disposition of property by will. So that means leaving a will for somebody is piracy.
Yeah. Testimony. Go ahead and read down.
That's going to be the mystic deposits on which the common will depended.
Let me see if I could go ahead. Okay, right here.
The name of
Wait. Let's stop right here
probably
real
the
quick.
oracles.
You see this dealing with that same Hebrew word. This the Greek. When you go inside of the Bible and you look up the Hebrew word, and then you go and look at the Greek and see all the meanings of it. And then you go from reading the Hebrew and read the covenant. Read these words in Greek and translate it yourself. Don't go on other people's translation. Go on translation yourself and realize that this right here is a covenant. And when one make covenant, it's dealing with a what? A mystery school. When it say right there, that's a mystery school. That's a Greek mystery school dealing with oracles.
And we know what that's called. That means it's a gnosis.
And so this is the second definition. So let's go to the second part of the second definition.
The name of an eye salve, because the recipe was deposited in a temple.
Gotta think about this. So the mystery school dealing with religional writs. Take the receipts, the information, put it inside the temple. Go to part 3.
A compact covenant, a disposition with allusion to.
Y'all see it. Y'all see this information for itself. You could find this in the Bible if you stop acting like a racist. Let me just break it right here. Stop acting like a racist. What that mean? What I mean by that? Okay, it mean that stop believing that King James wrote the greatest Bible in the world. There's no Bible that could top it. Stop believing that English is God language. That some preachers out there would tell you that God made English just for the Bible to be interpreted. Get out of fantasy world.
Let me just read the definition of a disposition to people, because that allusion is very important, because the definition of disposition that they're using, because on Google it tells you that there's 4 different interpretations of that word. So we don't want people to get the misinterpretation, right?
Yeah.
By being confused. Disposition in a legal sense is the action of distributing or transferring being a key word, emancipation, just for people who don't know that that's a synonym. Transferring is a synonym for emancipation of property or money to someone, in particular by bequesting them. So you have to go on a quest to be able to have a disposition.
So do you like Aladdin?
How about this? Hold on. One more too.
Thieves?
The archaic terminology, meaning the most ancient form of the word. The determination of events by a divine power.
So we have.
Didn't Aladdin have a divine power?
Oh yes, he did.
He had the gene, right? The jinn.
Yes.
He had to rub that lamp and get the jinn. And then if we watch Aladdin and the King of Thieves, that was Abraham, his father.
Think about it, people. Think about this. You have Aladdin and the 40 thieves. Right there in the Bible, it say a thief. They were thinking Jesus was a thief. Came out of Jesus' mouth. Why you arresting me? Why you coming with your swords and everything to arrest me? You thinking I'm a thief?
Wasn't it a thief up there next to him on the cross?
But Abraham himself was a pirate. Jesus was also a pirate who made religion rich or covenant, compact. One thing people got to realize is this. Here we go. Oh, I thought I paused it. We're going to go back. Okay. This is the Greek word that will show up. The Greek word lestes, a robber, a plumber, a freebooter, or brigand. It comes from the word lestemos, which means to plunder. Jesus was not just a thief, that they wasn't just looking at Jesus as a thief. Because there's no other mention of Jesus being a thief that they was arresting him for being a thief. That is not so. The reason why they arrested him because they thought he was a plumber, someone who go in and ravage a city. And what people got to understand, when they go ravage a city to plunder, they don't want no money, no paper money. They not looking for gold like that, no gold coins. They looking for women. They looking for children. And they looking for animals. That's the property that they looking for. They not looking to come and take your home. They'll burn that down and move on. They coming to take your children.
Hey, and didn't they do that? Because look, let's go back to the Super Mario example, right? Super Mario is phonetically similar to a plunderer because he's a plumber. He is a plumber. And then not only that, he's going into these various lands to plunder their cities for the gold coins.
Yeah.
He uses the drugs to power up, and he's chasing after what? A serpent man who stole a woman.
Yes. Yes. Mario break it down in so many ways.
And aren't they stealing our children's consciousness by playing the game?
Yes. Mario go in there and steal. So let's go to this verse.
And if we're really being honest, Mario is Italian, which means he's from the Aegean Sea, the Mediterranean Sea.
Yes.
The Greeks.
He's like the Roman. We understand that before Christopher Columbus went to Spain, he went to the city-state of Granado. That's where he's from, Granado, in Italy. Now it's a part of Italy. It was a city-state of its own caliber, but now it's a city in Italy, Granado. These cities would set up ports. They would pirate. They would fight other pirates. They'll fight the Turks and pirates. Why would Jesus tell the Roman guards and the guards who come in to arrest him that he is not a lay stakes? People gotta understand that Jesus coming in the boat, Jesus moving around freely. Back in them days, you had to be a soldier or you have to have an official seal to move around the highway. If you moving around the highways without an official seal, you is a roadman. You robbing people on the road. You is plumbing people. That means you would take their children, the weakest people, you would take their belongings, kill the men. But what is Jesus doing at this time? Let's go back to what I showed you in part 1 and part 2, going to the naked little boy. Because we got to understand, how can we prove that Abraham was a sex trafficker? Going back into the story of Abraham and Sarah. Sarah, he gave his wife away 2 times to the king. The king of Egypt one time slept with her, had a dream, and realized, like, man, this woman is already married. You would take her, and not just take her, I'm going to give you belongings. I'm going to give you cattle. I'm going to give you gold. I'm going to give you all this belongings. That sounds like a prostitute to me. Then Abraham went to another location. And then he was scared that his wife going to get found out again. He said, you my sister again, and gave her to the king. King had a dream again. This king had a dream again and gave her up and gave belongings. Here you go. He prostituted his wife 2 times and lied and said that it was his sister. And then
what does it say about her in the scriptures? She was they said she was barren. She was unable to have children. But according to the actual definition of barren, that doesn't mean that she wasn't able to have children. It means that she was the leader of the cartel. She was a baroness, the leader of a cartel.
So when we go into now, let's go into this sex trafficking. So you have Sarah or Sarai. She cannot have children. What they say. So she had a servant, a maid servant, who is also what you got to realize was a slave. Not just any slave. She was a virgin. When you look into the Greek, you'll realize she was a young girl, not a adult, a young girl. You could say around 12 years old, just coming into period. Abraham, if you read the verses of Abraham, Abraham started talking to God, got full of that drug. He got full of that drug to reach God. He need them drugs to reach God. The LSD, the elucidative, the psychoactive drug. Took that drug, he started talking to God, and then came and he had sex with Hagar. And after that, what happened? Sarah started beating her. Abraham like washed his hand like, this your maid. Yeah, I had sexual intercourse with her, but it's your maid. It's still gonna always be your maid. And then we seen from there the mistreatment that she had to run away. What did Abraham do? He sent his bodyguard. He sent Gabriel, go get her. Go get my slave. His messenger, he went, sent his messenger to go get his slave. So going into Abraham being a sexual deviant and also being a slave trafficker, a sex trafficker. Let's go back into Jesus. Let's go back into Jesus. I'm gonna close this. Stop sharing this for a moment, and we're gonna share. I'm gonna share another window. Okay. I want to thank everybody. One, I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. If you want to give shout outs, tell us where you coming from. If you coming from Facebook, if you coming from YouTube, give a shout out, and we're gonna make sure your comment is shown on screen. Out of respect and love, thank y'all for tuning in. We got 2 people coming out of YouTube, and we got 1 coming out of Facebook. Thank y'all for tuning in and making this show what it do. So let me share the screen now. We're gonna go into back into Mark. See, Mark 14, this King James. This for y'all King James lovers. You feel who like, oh, if it ain't King James, it's not about that. Okay, whatever. He translated his book from somewhere. Come on, let's be real. Now, can you see this or I have to blow it up?
It's good.
Okay, now.
You might have to zoom in though if you wanna let people see specific verses.
Okay, let me zoom in. Zoom. Okay. How about now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go with $45. Start with 45.
And as soon as he was come, he goeth straightway to him and saith, Master, Master, and kissed him.
Stop
and
right there. That kiss when you pull up the Greek and realize that kiss, that that kiss is not no kiss on the cheeks. This is not no fairy tale. That kiss was a passionate kiss. Look in the Greek. I could pull up the Greek in the word for you in this video. But I want you to do the research also, because you're going to deny what we say. You're going to believe Henry is crazy. But I want to also show y'all some things, but also give y'all a push in the direction that y'all need to go. Then actually say, Henry, I want you to do all the research, and after you present this to us, we still gonna deny you. No, you gonna do the research. If you don't do the research, you can't debate me. You can't debate Shin Akuma. You can't say nothing to us that deny what we saying, because you yourself did not do the research. That's all I'm saying. So go ahead to
And I would also like to add in that I don't think it matters either way, personally, whether it was a passionate kiss, aka a kiss on the mouth, or the kiss on the cheek. Because personally, I think the kiss on the cheek is more sinister based on the fact that the eye salve be dripping down onto the cheeks. The drugs.
Yeah.
Because you kiss them. Think about it. How do they kiss people in that European style? When you meet people, you kiss them on both cheeks. If you kissing somebody on both cheeks and they got that eye salve on, now you got the hallucinogens in your mouth.
Yeah, yeah. But in this case, it do matter, because we gotta understand that the Greeks, when their words, how they express stuff, like it have 3 or 4 different types of love. 3 types of definition and meaning for love. It's be spelled different, it's explained different, but it's giving you the same coordination as love. And in the Bible, they will hide that by just using the word love, than actually give you the real true word of what they really mean. So
I agree with that because in the Hebrew, it's the same concept. One word could have 3 different meanings.
so let's go down to 50 and read down.
And they all forsook him and fled.
So right here, let me explain what happened. All his disciples, when them soldiers came to arrest Jesus, they came. You feel? Something happened. You got Judah, he came kiss Jesus, a passionate kiss. All the disciples with him, they ran. They didn't stay with him. They not about to get caught. Why did they run? They didn't run because of Jesus' teachings in the temple. They wasn't looking for Jesus for them. They was looking for this right here. Jesus in a public park doing something to this young man. Because you got to understand, there was disciple keeping watch. Here come the ritual. Here come the mystery. Here come the mystery Jesus was talking about. Now,
And you know how it is in the modern day. If them people come, them police with them warrants, we all know we all running.
yeah.
If the
So this,
police pull up, we're all running.
yeah. So here we gonna go and explain to you why Jesus got put on that cross. Go ahead and read from 51.
I got you. And there followed him a certain young man
When
having
you
a
look in
linen.
Greek, that young man is a boy. In the Greek, young man, y'all gotta
That's an
understand
adolescent. An
that in
adolescent.
Hebrew, in these cultures over here, 13 years old, you a man. So they saying a young man, a youth,
A teenager.
someone who not even finished with puberty. So what's going on with this young man?
Having a linen cloth couched about his naked body. And the young man laid hold on him. And he
So
left the linen cloth and fled from them naked.
so you got this young man. He got this linen cloth. Even in this word linen cloth, it's not like no underwear. Oh, the boy had underwear. No, this is like I showed in the other video. This linen cloth is medical wrapping in the mystery. They
Is
would take
medicated.
they would take all these drugs and put them together in these linen wrappers. In the ritual, they'll pregnate you with all these drugs. It's like icy hot. Somebody take a patch of ice hot, put it on your arm. You can feel it inside of your body and stuff. These drugs, you absorbing it. This boy taking it's around his ding dong. This is the antidote. Jesus got Christed. Jesus is hallucinating. He is seeing God in the Bible. And when the guards came to get him to arrest him, he said, I am not a Lestes. I am not a Lestes. I am not a robber. I am not a plumber. Or we could say today, I am not a rapist. Jesus saying, I didn't kidnap this boy. I did not take him. He is not a slave that I came and took from this area.
Oh, it looks like we have a little bit of a technical difficulty, folks. So therefore, here we go. He's back.
Sorry about that.
Now go ahead. I took over for a second. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I forgot the main key thing.
You forgot to put the phone on the charger.
Bingo.
It's all good because you know what? Because that's the charges, right? There we go. We going into the charges, and we didn't have enough for the charge right there.
So going back into what I was saying, that Jesus is getting arrested in the garden. Jesus
Right?
is Jesus is in a public garden. He already told his disciples to watch the way because he is doing the ritual now. He doing his
Yep. So
ritual.
they was doing the lookout, just like on the corner if you're gonna rob the store.
Yeah. You got the two watch out, and then Jesus is in the bush with this certain young man. He grabbed
So let
hold
me
of.
read that. Let me read that next verse because it's important to the development of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And they led Jesus away to the high priest, and with him were assembled all the chief priests and elders and the scribes. So that sounds like in the modern day, they took his ass to the judge and into the courtroom. The high
Yeah.
priest being the judge, the chief priest being the jury, and the elders and the scribes being the stenographer, the one on the typewriter typing the minutes down, and the elders would be the DA, the prosecutor.
Yes. Yeah. So you got Jesus. They didn't grab him any time. No other time they grabbed him and brought him in court because they didn't have nothing on him. But when one looked into the Bacchus right, look into the history of the Greeks and the wine, what Bacchus, or you could say Dionysus with the wine, the drugs, the herbs that create medicine and create drugs, intoxication. You have Jesus in the garden with a naked young man with only wrappings. And these wrappings is the same Egyptian wrappings that you use for a mummy in ritual. This was a ritual. Y'all say the Masonic order Masons, the Illuminati do child sacrifice and then they child trafficking. Y'all say these things. But now these things are in your face so you would know these things. This is not a conspiracy when it's in your face and you can see it for yourself.
And can I say another relation to modern time, ancient Egypt connection, right? To this. You said the mummies like in ancient Egypt, which in the 1800 archaeology, they would take the mummies and actually eat them for drugs.
Yeah.
I don't know if people know that in the 1800, early 1900, that they was grinding up these mummies and drinking them as potions as well, thinking they was going to get some form of immortality, some type of hallucinogenic property. They wanted to speak to God.
Oh, talking about the main thing I forgot. I should have put it up. Oh, wait a minute. I believe I could do it now. Let me pause myself on this computer and put myself in the studio. Okay. Let me meet. Okay. Everything good? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me see if I can pull up this on the screen, and then we're gonna get into what I wanted to show and how it affects things. Okay, I should have did a video presentation with it, but it's dealing with myrrh and frankincense. People work here. I just be honest, you feel, just break it down. Like I work and I deal with different type of jobs. So a lot of stuff I don't be having prepared. But I be wanting everybody to along with us could come and say, hey, the information you told us, we looked it up and you was correct. When you look up frankincense and myrrh, these are drugs. People think, oh, they just incense, just for smell, just for
So
purification.
let me make a point on it to make the modern day terminology of frankincense and myrrh, since we found it out, because frankincense would be considered an anti-inflammatory drug, aka ibuprofen or Advil, and then myrrh would be considered an analgesic, which is the modern day acetaminophen or Tylenol.
So, so this
And people take Tylenol and Advil every day.
Can you see this?
Yes, I can, but you got to zoom into what you want to see.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know.
There you go. Perfect.
So I'm gonna show y'all something that y'all fail to realize. This is key here. This is key. This should show you the connection. This right here is the connection between Dionysus and the Bible. This is connection of the Greek world with the Bible. This destroys everything that somebody say, no, Dionysus don't have nothing to do with the Bible. This right here is his companion. So hit us with this, Shin.
All right. The Bible says that satyrs, often referred to as Seirim, and appeared in several passages, including Vayakira, which is also translated into the English as Leviticus, chapter 17 and 7. And in this verse, it suggests that the Israelites practiced Seirim worship in Egypt, but no longer offer sacrifices to them. 2 Chronicles 11, 14, and 15, the satyrs appear in the passage. And in Isaiah 13, 19 through 21, satyrs appear in the passage. And some sources say they caper in the wild desert beasts. And we all know what a caper is. A caper is a criminal action.
So
A plundering, like you said before, a caper, when you go on a caper, that's you trying to plunder somebody, trying to rob somebody.
I'm sorry about that. Yup.
And if you don't mind, I'd like to interject something into there too with that. Moses didn't worship the satyrs, proven in when he went up to the mountain, right? And when he came back down, and Aaron and the Israelites was worshiping the bull, as it showed us in the hymn in the beginning of the show, Dionysus was represented by the gold or the bronze bull.
So let's break down. Let me break down. Moses wasn't believing in the satyr. You would say Abraham was a satyr. Because when one realized this is deep for everyone in the Greek world. A satyr will be Pan. The Pan, the half goat, half man. These are teachers. These are the imaging of teachers. Teacher of Alexandria, teacher of Plato, all their teachers would be half man and half animal. Because of the fact that once one dig into the Greek, these young boys would go to school with these men. Like today, you have teachers molesting students. These teachers would have these love relationships with their students. So this type of behavior was of Greek culture. So we
can go ahead and just say it outright. Forget Greek culture, because Greek culture at this point is not expressive enough. it would be straight up Christianity.
Yes, in today's term, Christianity. Yes. So now let's go into this more.
And to link it to the Torah, a Seirim or Seir, that has to do with being a Edomite or a Idumean. And Idumea is also another Roman name for those who wear red and white garments.
So you'll read this second part.
Satyrs were believed to have the ears and the tails of a horse or goat, and were often depicted as playing flutes and drinking wine. They were led by the god Pan, who was the son of Hermes. And Hermes is also known as Trismegistos, or the 3 times great, which brings back the 3.
So you have here that we showed you up top that you can find in Isaiah, you will find it in Second Chronicle, you will find it in Leviticus, that this Greek creature, this Hellenistic creature in the Bible, and when you know who he deal with, he is always connected to Bacchus, or you could say Dionysus.
Which we would call in modern day Christianity the devil.
Who?
The satyr.
No. Whole different creature. This who our images is when we think about it, and a lot of people give that perception, but we gotta understand that when we hear the word Pan, what when was the last time you heard the word Pan?
Peter Pan.
Outside of Peter Pan, dealing with the world.
That would have to be for bread.
Remember pandemic?
Oh yeah, pandemic too. Yeah, but that's a see, now you're going back into compound words.
So do pan mean all?
Yes, it does.
All the people. We
And then
are,
an epidemic means that to absorb something through the epidermis, which is your skin.
yeah. So when we realize that pan mean all, Pangea, pandemic, it mean all. We are all companions of Dionysus. And we find this in the Bible more and more and more. And people got to realize that even in the Bible, it tell you the temple. Inside the temple, the holiest of holiest, they got golden grapevine. One, see that first clue, golden grapevine. The grapevines itself is homage to Dionysus. They have two. They have golden statues of the satyrs. That's why we showing you satyrs in the temple of Jerusalem. This is the second connection with the temple and dealing with Dionysus.
And don't forget, in the ancient Greek, in order to be a hero, you had to study under Chiron, which you just showed. Chiron was a pan.
Yeah.
And they have to what? They have to send you on a quest in order for you to become a hero.
So let me pop this out real quick. Get this these. So this is a little secret teaching I want to pop out. See, if people don't understand this what you will see in the corners of the temple. a pen, a satyr. Even in the Hebrew, they got a name for it. But you got to
Serim.
understand, Hebrew is just a third grade wording for Greek. Somebody trying to play with you. So, look, bam, here you go. So, now,
It looks
when
like
people,
that child's book, Where the Wild Things Are. I don't know if people know about that book, but it's a world famous book, Where the Wild Things Are.
yeah. So, let me get this right and pop this off the screen. You gotta have the bird flying. The bird gotta fly high and forever. Let's take this out the story. Now, when y'all say God, when y'all say God, God, do you hear me? Y'all are talking about Zeus. No matter what, no matter what, English say, oh, it's the God of the Bible. When you say God, any God, all God, you are saying Zeus. Theos, day, woo. The day, when you even say today, Sunday, sun God. All the days of the week is the days of the God.
Because it's a Deus or a Dios.
Look. I'm about to hit everybody with something they don't know about. See this Phoenician king?
Catamus.
Let This is what they say about Dionysus. This is the mountain he's from because Dionysus, God, Nisus, or Nisis, Nysa, is a mountain. And it's also a tree. The greatest tree that they still show on the flag, and that is in Libyan.
Lebanon.
Lebanon, and it is the cypress tree, and it's shaped like a mountain, and it's in ancient time Phoenician territory. This is Homer telling you
And if you
where.
read that word right there, right, it's Theo Nike. Theo
Yeah.
Nike. Nike, we know, is Diana, aka Athena, the daughter of Zeus.
So you got history where Homer himself said Dionysus is from the same place the Hebrews said that they sojourned in. And even when you look up the story, when you go into the Greek story, let me wait, let me find this story. Let me post this story. I want to make sure y'all get this story. Because this story right here, you see the name of that, Jamal? Shit.
I can't see it because it's behind the live screen.
No, I'm talking about the main screen with the picture.
Yeah, you can see it, but I can't. You can't see what that word says completely.
Okay, it's Pen.
Pentheus.
P. Yeah, my bad pronunciation. Let me see if I
Pentheos.
let me see if I can get this in here. This picture. They don't want this picture in here. So
And
let me
then it
see.
would say that would be the root of that would be for a pantheon.
Okay.
Pantheos.
Okay. Overlay. They don't even want me to put the picture up. I'm so pissed off right now. I'm so pissed off. So I had a picture of the story of it telling you, but the photo's too big, so I'm gonna put it in part 2. But this connects so much. The story, see this right here, this picture that is showing up. This is guess what story in the Bible this about?
Go ahead.
This This is the story about Jacob and his brother.
Jacob and Esau,
Yes.
who is Seir.
This is the Greek version of that story. And guess who Dionysus is?
He's Esau.
No. He is Jacob. Remember how I showed you let me put this down.
Oh, yep. Now I remember what you said about that. You showed that Yaqub reference.
So Jacob will be Bacchus. Or in Greek, that his nickname would be the same thing. These are the two gods when you go into Arab culture, go into the peninsula of Saudi Arabia. These are the two gods. The god and the goddess that they mainly venerate. Dionysus and you know who this is.
Aphrodite.
Aphrodite. Yup. And then this is the father of Dionysus in the story.
So that would be Isaac then.
Yes. This is the same. This is Phoenician or Hebrew with the purple. The people with the purple is still in their culture with the Greek. This is where we get this from. This is
And don't forget, Esau is from Seir, and the Seir is translated into Hebrew as Seirim, which is the mountain.
So
Seir.
the summary of what I'm breaking down to everybody is this. That's from Abraham to Jesus. They was Bacchus worshippers. They was Dionysus worshippers. Jesus himself was not this god Dionysus. None of these gods. He was a person that they created into God. And the set that he claimed was slaves. They carry slaves around. The 12 disciples was sex slaves, as we showed in part 2 and part 1. They were sex slaves. Jesus was creating a sexual ritual inside the park, the public park, and that is the reason why Jesus got arrested. Alestes. We showed you from Hebrew, from being pirate
He
to
would have been a sex
Lestes,
offender.
to Jesus being a sex offender, a drug user, and a sex offender, and a, a slave master of young boys, where he trafficked, a sex trafficker.
Flesh peddlers.
Yes. Don't believe me? Go watch part 1, go watch part 2, and come back and watch part 3. And when we come out with part 4, don't be scared to hit the comments. Comment. We're going to receive the comment. We're going to show it on screen, and we're going to talk about it. Discuss it. I'm not trying to fight you over your comment. You did. So, let me close out this screen. We're going to go into the next screen, then we're going to go into the drugs, because we blended in the sex and the slave dealing with Abraham and dealing with Jesus. That's the sex and the slave part of it. Shin Akuma gonna go into more details into the drug part. But let me go ahead and finish my part so I could close my mouth and be a co-host this time. I like to add a little craziness to the mix. So I'm just gonna that's all for me, folks. So yes, the Bible is very interesting. So let's no further ado, let me go ahead and make Shin Akuma the #1 spot.
Now we're gonna get into the drugs. We know everybody loves the drugs, so this is gonna be the part for all of our people out here, for further understanding of how they was able to get people to do these sinister acts, especially when we know it's immoral and unethical when people are in their right mind. So obviously they have to be under what they would say was a spell, a trance. But we all know from the modern day interpretations, it was a drug use, not holistic remedy or herbs, but drugs. There's a difference. Pharmaceuticals and apothecary, like I was saying earlier. Now, we have this Hyacinthus orientalis, also known as purple sensation. It doesn't tell you that on the Wikipedia, but on the gardening, it will give you the name purple sensation. Now, the reasoning behind why we need these purple flowers is because they would create a purple potion, as we showed earlier in the Greek, to make the eye salve, or the drugs that you would put under your eyes or on your cheeks. Now, let me just...
This the anointed.
The anointing, right? The anointing oils. Now, let me just read this quick description here. It says that the Hyacinthus orientalis, which is common, is a species of flowering plants in the Asparagaceae subfamily of the Psiloideae, native to southwestern Asia, aka the Lebanon, which is southern and central Turkey, northwestern Syria, Lebanon, which Henry just mentioned, and northern Palestine, which northern Palestine is modern day Israel for people who are not geographically inclined. It was introduced to Europe in the 16th century, which we know that's incorrect because Henry just showed you how it related directly to Abraham, which we know he didn't live in 16th century, which is 1700 AD. It is widely cultivated everywhere in the temperate world for its strongly fragrant flowers, which appear exceptionally early in the season and are frequently forced to flower at Christmas time, aka Saturnalia, which was known in the ancient Roman and Greek times as a festival for sex orgies.
Yeah.
And sacrificing up children, aka abortions.
You wanted me to go here, right?
Yes, sir. The mythology. You already had me. You had me plotted out already. In the Greek mythology, aka Greek history, Hyacinth was a young man admired by Apollo and Zephyr, which Apollo is the god of the sun, and Zephyr is the god of the four winds, but was killed by a discus in a fight between the two gods. And they played discus in the Olympics, and in modern day we call it frisbee.
Yes.
A flower was allegedly named after him when it sprang out from his blood. This is going into where it says in the Bible that the life is in the blood, that adrenochrome, aka using the bodily fluids to gain a hallucinogenic property. However, Theophrastus described both a cultivated and wild plant called hyacinthos, neither of which are considered to be the modern day hyacinth. Which means if we are being honest, if there was two plants and they cultivated one and one was wild, the modern day hyacinth would actually be a GMO plant, a hybridized plant, the modern version.
Yeah.
Now stay right there. Cultivation. I'm just going to read that first part of the cultivation. So H. orientalis has a long history of cultivation as an ornamental plant, which ornamental means that it is a ritual plant grown across the Mediterranean region and later France, where it was used as perfume.
Is that the same way like frankincense and myrrh?
Right, which would be the two. Now, let's be honest here, Henry. That would be the two plants they just mentioned, the wild one and the cultivated one.
Yes.
Which the Netherlands, the major center of cultivation, and elsewhere. Now, with this understanding of what we just heard, now let's go back to me in the regular screen, Henry, so we can go ahead.
Okay.
So we can go on ahead. We gotta really get a real observation real quick of what's going on here. Now, if they're cultivating this plant as a hybridized plant, now this does mean that they would have different levels of potency depending on the cultivation techniques, just like if it was modern day weed, modern day cocaine, or modern day fentanyl. And people might not want to associate these things. We also could throw mushrooms in there.
Yeah.
These are all hallucinogens, people. But not only hallucinogenic, they're also anti-inflammatory, and they're also analgesic, which analgesic just means it's not a painkiller like a narcotic. It actually means that it is a certain type of pharmaceutical that is used to heighten your threshold for pain. Meaning when you take it, it doesn't take away the pain. It just makes it so you can take higher levels of pain than's normally tolerated.
Yeah.
Now, Henry, if they was in the trance, wouldn't that be considered a higher threshold for pain?
Yeah.
Now, in a modern day sense, what is the most potent drug you could say, to heighten your sense of threshold for pain. Who do we say is invincible when they use their drugs?
Who's that?
Wouldn't that be crackheads?
Yes.
Doesn't modern day crackheads have a crazy threshold for pain?
Yeah.
We've seen crackheads get hit by cars on short videos and get right up. We've seen them fall off of bridges on the highway and dent up a car and get up and walk away. They are able to withstand all types of the elements. Crackheads are some of the greatest plunderers in the streets. They are also some of the most people who victimize with people with sexual assaults, which all links back directly to these Christian rites, rituals, and different various forms of drug use, ritual drug use.
Yeah. Because when one look up that plant, it got alkaloid. ALKALOID. When one
Which
look
means
in
it's
history,
alkaline. It's alkaline for everybody who's out here in the health kick. They know what alkaline means. It makes your blood have a positive reaction.
So when one realized the first individual alkaloid was morphine. It was isolated in 1804. So when they talk about that plant that you popped up, they'll say that it's toxic, it's poison. But you actually look at it, the reason why it's sad because it don't want you to know the secret property that it causes. You feel? Alcohol have a wide range of pharmaceutical and pharmacological material.
Which means they used it for what?
Property, anti-cancer property.
You know what they call that, right?
Yeah.
It's called the anesthetic. That's anesthesia.
Yeah.
So when you go into the dentist's office and they hit you up with that gas, that anesthesia, they're using a vapor form of that flower.
Yeah.
When they give you the anesthesia in the IV, intravenous, let's go into that again. Who did you show? Aphrodite, aka Venus.
Yeah.
Enter Venus. So entering into your veins. Before they was using the bronze serpent that bites you and then they live, biblical reference, pay attention, with in the wilderness. What was the wilderness? The wilderness of Paran or Pan, the wilderness of Pan, to make these connections for all these biblical scholars out here so they don't try to say that we're straying away from the biblical terms. In the mountains of Seir, where the Seirim or the Satyr lives, what were they doing? They was rubbing on the liquid, the purple liquid. Today we would call it codeine syrup for people who want to not know or act like ignorant. That purple drink, that's what Abraham and them was using in the ancient time. The same purple drink. Look, see, there it is. The Eleusinian mystery, or Eli in the Bible. Elus. Now let's see. Here we go. Elucin. What is that? That is the Eli or the El, the god of the moon. Now, a Ion or a Ionian is a Greek. Now that was a direct correlation right there in the word breakdown for everybody to have a perfect understanding of the entities we are speaking on. Now let me read this passageway for people to see. The ergot fungi, aka mycelium or mushrooms, what an attempt to solve these mysteries of how so many people over the span of 2,000 years could have consistently experienced revelatory states during the culminating ceremony of the Eleusinian mysteries. The two culminating ceremonies of the Eleusinian mysteries would be what, Henry? What are the two main ceremonies? One that's held in the spring and one that's held in the winter that everybody in America celebrates religiously. What would those two holidays be called?
Easter.
Correct?
And Christmas.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just so there's no confusion. These are the Eleusinian mystery. It has been poised.
Wait. Hold up. I know we getting good. I know it's getting good. But I wanna mess up people's mind for a moment. I want them to come back. You feel? I don't want to give all the mysteries tonight because you still got some mysteries for us. We gonna give them the modern term tomorrow. We not gonna wait a whole another week to do part 4. We gonna do tomorrow. You busy tomorrow?
You know I'm not, sir. I'm always ready to decipher and decode the knowledge. That's why they might as well start calling me the Enigma machine.
So we're gonna end this show right here because I don't want to drop 2 hours on y'all like that. We could go all night, but I want people to actually digest the information. I want them to be able to like breathe and like, okay, I see what they talking about. So we're gonna leave out right here. We're gonna leave out with the this drug and this LSD like symptoms. Dealing with this alkaline. See, that's that word again. See, the plant that you had also got alkaline. They're dealing with these drugs, you feel? We're going to understand why Dr. Savy talked about alkaline and stuff, so forth. So we're going to go deeper into the drugs, deeper into slavery, the sex. We're going to go all into this history. But right now, I want everybody to get their rest, and we're going to see you tomorrow. Yeah. So we're going to sit in this back and chill for a while and let everything flow. We're going to drop the knowledge as it go.
You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
I don't think you guys walk away from this.
You just make sure people know what happened.